Hey there guys, welcome back to ARTFX Studios and you're watching a new video in the bass design series. This video is going to be looking into a plugin called Zebra 2. I really love the plugin, I recently got it and it's actually pretty great. I sort of looked around a little bit, experimented a little bit, and I must say I definitely like the sound and the richness in the sonic quality of the sound that this plugin is capable of. And I want to show you around a little bit today. We're going to make a really simple bass line, but the bass line gets all of its interest from the actual notes itself. So I prepared a little clip. I've got this particular melody right here. It's a melody based on the B blues scale, and it's playing a single saw wave patch in Zebra. I've also got a clip with some drums down below it that sounds a little bit like this, really simple. And when I combine that with the Zebra 2 loop, we can hear there's some issues going on between the kick drum and the saw wave. We are going to get our way around that. We're going to fix that later on. For now I want to sort of just consolidate that particular clip, and I really want to work on just the melody, the bass line alone. So this video is going to be looking into Zebra. I made an initialized patch using just a saw wave oscillator set to the single mode, and with everything else turned off. I have no release on the envelope, full sustain, no decay, no attack. So we get a fully sustained sound. So I want to widen this up a little bit and I want to make it a little bit fatter. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go to the to this box that says single on the first oscillator, and I'm going to set this to quad. Now what this is going to do is that this oscillator will now play 4 voices instead of 1. Because we're playing 4 voices, we get a much fatter and much wider sound. Now I'm also incorporating the detuning right here, and I'm detuning just a little bit, let's say -8. And what that's going to do is going to detune each individual voice. And because we've got 4, they're going to phase between each other. So now we get this. So that sounds pretty cool. I can check out how it sounds when I enable the restart via gate thing. You might know that from Massive. I'm gonna call it restart via gate, but it's actually just a restart knob that makes sure that every time a voice is played, it starts at the default position of the phase. When this is not on, it starts at random positions within the phase, and thus the sound will sound even wider. When we turn it on, it's going to restart the phase every time a voice is triggered. So therefore, all the voices now start on the exact same position in the phase, but because they all get a little bit of a different pitch, they still sort of modulate each other. So now we get this. Sounds pretty good, let's turn on this knob. It introduces a little bit more high frequencies in our oscillator, but what we can now also do is we can use the sync knob. As you can hear. So I'm going to set this to about there. I think that's about right. And what I'm going to do now is I'm going to go to this knob, and let's do this knob first. This is the actual control of the phase. If I set this to here, you can hear we get different sounds out of it. I like it right there. What I'm going to do is I'm going to right click this knob right next to it, and I'm going to select envelope number 2. You can see it also adds the envelope right here, and now our phase is being controlled by this second envelope. So what I can do is I can bring that envelope amount up. I can start to hear a change now. What I'm going to do, let's make the decay time a little bit longer. Okay, a little bit more detuning makes it sound definitely better. I like that sort of like that pumping vibe in that bass sound that it has because of the phase modulation that we're getting. I'm also gonna add envelope number 2 to the sync knob, and I'm gonna do that with a really small amount. Okay, that sounds really good. Now, what can I do inside this oscillator to spice this up a little bit more? I can go to the ARTFX tab, and on the first one, I'm going to select Brilliance. Let's see how that sounds. So if I bring this up, we now get a lot more high frequencies. If I bring it down, we get a much more muffled kind of sound. I like this. I'm gonna add a little bit more. It sounds pretty good. So on the Oscillator Effects tab, I can go to this little box that says None, and under I can take one of these effects. Now, I'm going to look around a little bit, and let's take something that's a little bit... something I don't use normally. Let's use the Formanzilla. Let's see what that does to our sound. Okay, we got sort of like a formant shifting kind of thing. Let's go to this particular knob with the 3 dots beneath it, and I'm going to right-click the knob itself, and out of the selection that follows, I'm going to choose LFO number 1. I can now bring this range up a little bit and see what that does to our sound. Okay. Now LFO number 1 itself is situated right here. Currently it's set to the free mode. I can set this to gate, like that. And now I'm going to sync this to a 1/4 rate. We don't really hear anything, but that's because the mod wheel knob is turned all the way up. I'm going to turn this knob all the way down, and let's see how it sounds right now. Okay, so we get a lot more movement in our sound right now. So let's see what happens when we change that formant knob itself. And we can change the shape of the LFO, or make it go down. Let's see what happens if we add some more effects. I'm gonna click this one, and we get a whole bunch of options. I can... let's see, let's choose the expander. Okay, let's take it out. I'm going to add some effects to the to this chain. So down below here, we've got the effects section, and we've got 3 chains of effects, or master and or 2 return tracks. So I'm gonna add this one to the master, and on here I'm going to take shape number 3, and right now our sound goes from here to the output into this section, and it goes into the master and it runs straight to the output. So right now it sounds like this. And when I bring up that shape, that depth knob on the shaper, we got much more volume. I can change how gritty it is with the edge knob. And I can change the shaper setting, sort of like a bit crusher. So let's try out some different knobs in here. Let's see what we can get. Bend works. Oh, that sounds pretty cool. Let's add another effect into our oscillator effects. Let's just take fundamental. Let's try the next one. Or the next one. Okay, it's starting to sound pretty interesting now. Let's make it a little bit of a slower rate. Okay, that's interesting. Set this to 100. And it's always interesting to just check out things. Okay, that sounds pretty interesting. Let's add something more. I'm going to add a filter, VCF number 1. It's currently set to a low pass. So we get that. We still get quite some distortion from the shaper, and that's pretty good. I like that. What I'm going to do is I want to control that cutoff position with an LFO. So I'm going to add another LFO, and let's see what we can do. I'm going to go to the matrix. Target is going to be filter 1 cutoff, and the modulator is going to be LFO number 2, like that. I'm going to set the range all the way up, and let's see how we can make this sound. Let's take a 1/16th note rate. Yeah, that looks pretty good. And let's see how this sounds. Okay. Why are we not getting anything? Oh, sorry. None. LFO 2. 4.8. Okay, sol down. And I can change the low pass setting. That sounds pretty interesting. I can change it to a dotted note. Sounds cool as well. I can try a triplet. Definitely try 1/8. I think maybe we should try a 1/8. Yeah, that sounds pretty cool. And envelope 2 is controlling the filter. I can click this and I can make this envelope 3. Let's bring it up. And I'm going to bring that sustain all the way down and the decay down as well. That sounds pretty cool. I can add some distortion to this if I want. We're now using a tube. I can switch this to rectify or tube 2 stages. We get a little bit more warmth out of that, which is pretty cool. I can try... Yeah, what can we do? FM? It's not really gonna work, so let's remove that. I kinda like that. Kind of like that. Let's go back to the global tab, and on here we've also got our return tracks. Now that's pretty cool because I can add a reverb to our return track, and that reverb is set up in a way like this. I'm going to turn on the return one, but we don't hear anything, and that's because we need to send this to our return. Now we hear it. So I'm going to bring our dry all the way down and the wet all the way up. And let's make our speed a little bit slower, or faster, I guess. Feedback can go down. Range can go down as well. Can try the metal verb. kind of like that. I'm also going to add an EQ after the reverb. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to bring that bottom one down. Like so. And if I right click that one, I can change the curve. I don't want to have anything from the low frequencies. So that sounds pretty good. I'm going to we're getting that. Let's bring that return down a little bit. I'm going to set EQ number 2 right here and have the input same. Yeah. Like that. EQ number 2 is going to go right here. And that one runs into there, runs into there. Yes. So this EQ, I'm going to take out some of those mids. Maybe add a little bit more lows. Yeah, that sounds pretty good. What I can now do is I'm gonna add a compressor to this. I'm gonna turn sidechaining on and take our trigger is going to be number 4. Then I'm gonna bring the attack down and let's bring the threshold down. I'm only looking for something small, and let's listen to this. I think that sounds pretty cool. We could also add an EQ. So like tame those peaks around here. Sounds pretty good. I can add a limiter to make sure we're not peaking. So we got that. I can maybe add some redux to this. And we can always play around with something like the frequency shifter. Let's set it to ring modulation with a really slow rate. Let's see what happens. So you might notice that weird thing going on now because of the frequency shifter. I actually like that, so I'm gonna group this, but I don't want to lose the main centered kind of thing from the original one. So we have this now, and with this I'm gonna layer. So let's see how that sounds. We'll get a little bit more sort of like stereo widening now. I would add a little bit less sidechaining. So that's it. That's how you create an interesting sounding bass line with Zebra. I hope you liked this video. If you want to see more of these videos, then subscribe to ARTFX Studios on YouTube or go to my website, which is www.artfx-studios.com, on which you can find a whole bunch of other tutorials as well. You can find a music production forum where you can talk to other music producers and discuss techniques, become a better producer, and just learn a lot along the way. I'm going to be there as well. I'm going to be there to answer your questions or to just take part in the discussions. On my website there's a whole bunch of articles as well about music production things, about marketing. I'm going to be doing a lot more videos and articles as well. I'm writing a lot, and yeah, I just hope you like these videos. If you like it, subscribe to me and I'll see you back soon. Peace!